Hi, I'm Jay Fallon, and this is the Slippery Slope. So let's look at this article. It's titled Australian Federal Police Detective Jailed After Admitting to Lying Under Oath About Evidence. This article here comes from the ABC. There's a picture here of this police officer. So, what's happened is Trent Maders gave sworn evidence in 2020 that he later admitted was false, pleading guilty to perjury in the ACT Supreme Court after being charged in 2024. Maders was a senior Australian Federal Police detective, was today sentenced. This was a couple of days ago now. Today, sentenced to jail for the crime, which the judge described as a tragic misjudgment. I think that's a tragic understatement. Okay, so Matters has been suspended from duty since 2024. He was suspended to a year in prison to be suspended after 4 months. So I'll get into the article. So he's a senior AFP detective who admitted to lying under oath about evidence seized during a criminal investigation. He's going to be spending, he will spend 4 months behind bars. Trent Matters, he's 52, pleaded guilty to a count of perjury in that he knowingly made false statements in legal proceedings in August of 2020. In handing down his sentence in the ACT Supreme Court, Justice David Mosop said Matters' conduct reflected a tragic misjudgment. The perjury was career destroying. Well, when your whole career is based on telling the truth and uncovering the truth, it should be destroying. So it was career destroying and much more serious than the conduct it was trying to hide. That's what the justice said. He said Matters undermined the proper administration of justice and had an impact on the perception of police being honest and reliable. Yes, indeed. So Matters was the officer in charge of the 2019 investigation into identical twin brothers Joshua, who was also an AFP officer, and Keenan Tiffin, who were accused of secretly filming female tenants at a Canberra property they owned. Oh my goodness. Okay, so during the investigation, police seized a mobile phone and laptop, which were required to be examined within 30 days unless an extension was granted. Matters did not seek an extension. Was later told by AFP digital forensic staff that the devices had not been examined within the required time frame. But when the admissibility of the evidence was challenged in the ACT Magistrates Court in 2020, Matters gave sworn evidence that he'd been assured the devices had been examined in time. Why would you even lie about that? It's so easy to uncover. Okay, he maintained that account under cross-examination despite being confronted with emails showing otherwise, and has since admitted those statements were knowingly false. My goodness. The Tiffin brothers were initially found guilty in 2022, but successfully appealed their convictions after evidence obtained from the laptop was ruled unlawful. The case was sent back to the ACT Magistrates Court, and the brothers were found guilty again in September 2025 of attempting to capture indecent visual data. That's disgusting. And these, Matters and the younger guy, AFP officers. Okay, so prosecutors Keegan Lee argued Matters' lies were deliberately told, repeated, and maintained. This is an offence that strikes at the heart of the administration of justice, he told the court. So the defence barrister said Matters admitted his offending was the dumbest thing he has ever done. That's an understatement, buddy. He is remorseful. He has demonstrated insight. He has taken accountability, she said. She described Matters as an overworked officer who was experiencing significant stress, pressure, and fatigue. Due to his time in the police force in the ACT, the court heard it was likely he would need to be transferred to a faraway New South Wales correctional facility if a jail sentence was imposed. But Ms. Morrisroe argued he would be exposed to a heightened level of risk, as any police officer who ever has to go to jail. Come on, lady. Heightened level of risk in any prison due to the national media attention he received through his involvement in investigating Brittany Higgins' rape allegation. Oh my goodness, gets worse. Justice Mossop sentenced him to almost a year in prison, to be suspended after 4 months, after which he will be subject to good behaviour order. Matters has been suspended from duty within the AFP since he was charged in 2024. In a statement, the AFP said Matters was still subject to an internal investigation into his conduct. Okay, so now let me give you my opinion on this. Oh my goodness, my head's exploding after reading all this. Because this case, obviously it's a touch bigger than one AFP detective lying under oath. This is a symptom of the deeper cultural rot inside our institutions, which is what I've been talking about for years now. An Australian federal police officer, a detective, jailed for lying under oath about evidence. You think about that. The AFP supposed to be the gold standard of policing in this country. They're the ones who investigate corruption, terrorism, organised crime. So do state police. But when you're talking about national organisations that are being investigated, national corruption or national crimes, a lot of the time the international crimes, it all comes back to AFP leading the charge. They're the ones other agencies often look to for leadership. And yet here we have an AFP officer who didn't just make a mistake, didn't just misremember something. He lied under oath. He lied in court. He lied in a sworn statement. He lied in a way that could have destroyed someone's life. It's not a paperwork error. It isn't a training issue. This is deliberate deception by someone entrusted with enormous power. And here's, I suppose, the uncomfortable truth. It doesn't just happen. It didn't just happen in a vacuum. When a police officer lies under oath, it tells you something about the culture they come from. Because no officer wakes up one morning and suddenly decides to fabricate evidence or mislead a court. That behavior grows in an environment where accountability is weak, leadership is complacent. Remember, we're talking about AFP officer. Accountability is weak, leadership is complacent, integrity is optional, AFP, and the culture rewards results over truth. This is exactly what we've been seeing across multiple policing agencies in Australia, not just the AFP, whether it's officers falsifying affidavits, manipulating evidence, abusing emergency powers, or hiding misconduct but behind internal processes. The pattern is the same. The institution protects itself first and the public second. Speaking of protecting themselves, I'm still waiting to find out about the outcome of those two serious incidents involving police in Cairns that I covered on this podcast, on the Slippery Slope. Remember, one of them showed a reckless act where an innocent female bystander was shot. Police were just spraying bullets everywhere. They found bullets in cars that had been driving by, in houses, in walls on houses. A female standing there at her front door was shot, and the offender who they were trying to hit, he eventually got shot in the backside, I believe. And then the other one was the death of the 71-year-old woman who was trying to cross the road, and she was allowed to cross the road. It was a green light, 71 years old. The police made a turn that they shouldn't have made because they were looking to arrest someone who, was just sitting there on the side of the road, and they struck her. And yet, from QPS, silence. There's no updates as far as in when I'm recording this. I can't find any updates, no transparency, no accountability. They always talk about transparency and accountability, yet nothing. This is exactly what I'm talking about. When police make catastrophic mistakes, the public gets silence. When police lie under oath, the public gets silence. When police kill innocent people, the public gets silence. But when the institution's reputation is at stake, suddenly, they move quickly. Suddenly, they act decisively. Suddenly, they care. Remember the poor police officer that got shot? Was it Mariba? No, Maryborough, down south. Great news that he's alive, that he's all well. But mate, they came out with an abundance of information. They told you the whole story. The whole story was out there. They had a plethora of information to share, to tell. Yeah, but when they've made a mistake, killed someone, shot innocent people, there's nothing to tell. Nothing. This is the slippery slope inside policing. Once truth becomes flexible, once integrity becomes negotiable, once accountability becomes selective, then corruption isn't an anomaly, it's inevitable. So the thing is, if one officer is willing to lie under oath, you can guarantee he is not the only one. He's just the one who got caught. Because lying under oath is never a first offense. It's the end result, usually, my opinion. It's the end result of a long chain of smaller compromises. Remember, Proverbs 29:12 says, if a ruler listens to lies, all his officials become wicked. This is how we are in Australia now. When leadership tolerates dishonesty, dishonesty spreads. When leadership rewards results instead of righteousness, corruption becomes normal. And that is what I think we are currently seeing. This AFP case isn't just one detective. That's what I'd be willing to bet. It's about a culture that allowed this behavior to grow. All this matters because when police lie, justice collapses. When police lie, innocent people suffer. When police lie, when they're not really transparent, the public loses trust. When a tragedy happens, an innocent bystander is shot, or an innocent 71-year-old female is killed by a police car, and yet nothing happens, nothing's told, there's no, no one answers for these things, the public loses trust. There's no transparency. When trust collapses, the entire system collapses. And then these police institutions can only blame themselves. This is how institutions decay from the inside, not through dramatic scandals, but through quiet, repeated compromises that eventually become normal. So unless policing leadership, I should say management, because we don't have a lot of leadership within policing or government in Australia. So when policing management / pretend leadership in this country confronts this head on, so unless they do, we're going to see more cases like this and not fewer. But hey, that's just my opinion. I'm still just Jay Fallon, and thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope podcast. Also, I do have a new song coming out later this week, I believe, on the 30th of August. New version of Create the Sun. I'll put a link up for it. Check it out. Thanks for listening.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna